I am Kum Seminary Adam, a first-year regular human resource student. We are Group 10, and we are here to present on the essay question. If critical thinking is crucial for development, why do many people, including the educated, find it difficult to think critically? Defining critical thinking. Critical thinking is the active, persistent, and careful consideration of any belief or supposed form of knowledge in the light of the grounds to which it tends and further conclusions to which it supports. Indeed, critical thinking is crucial for personal and societal development. Yet, many people, including the educated, find it difficult to think critically. Why do many people, including the educated, find it difficult to think critically? There are limitations on the educational system. The educational system focuses on raw memorization rather than fostering critical thinking skills. It leads to superficial understanding of subjects, where students are not encouraged to question and analyze it. Moving on to the thesis and the paradox. Critical thinking is the ability to analyze and evaluate on an issue in order to form judgments. It involves questioning assumptions, evaluating evidence, and considering different perspectives. The thesis. To overcome the paradox of critical thinking, it is crucial to evaluate critical thinking in educational curricula, encourage independent inquiry, and practice reflective thinking regularly.
My name is Samankwa Gladys, and I'm a first-year HR student. Why scholars and policymakers insist that it is essential for development? Although education is widely available and the importance of critical thinking is well recognized, many people still struggle to think critically. Having access to education alone does not guarantee that people will carefully analyze information or make reasoned decisions. Critical thinking must be intentionally taught, practiced, and developed through reflection and questioning. This section argues that critical thinking is essential because it promotes economic growth, scientific and technological advancements, and personal development. Scholars such as Don J. Richard Paul, and Linda Elder, Heavy Cigar, and Carol Beck believe that people and societies develop when individuals analyze evidence, question assumptions, solve problems, and make informed decisions rather than accepting information without evaluating. Despite its importance, many people still lack critical thinking skills, showing that education alone is not enough, and critical thinking must be actively practiced and encouraged. Thank you.
My name is Osei Anabula. Credentialism is the belief that formal qualifications like degree, certificates are the main proof of person's intelligence. Critical thinkers may assume they have a degree, so they must be right. 2. Someone without a degree cannot have valuable knowledge. Intellectual thinking. A critical thinker usually demonstrates intellectual humility by asking questions, listening to people's perspective, changing their minds when evidence changes. It means understanding or our knowledge is limited and that we can make mistakes. In conclusion, credentialism focuses on person's achievement, whilst intellectual humility focuses on how we think, learn, and respond to knowledge.
Okay, my name is Opoku Ajimai, and I'm here to talk about education and social barriers to critical thinking. Critical thinking means thinking independently and asking questions, and judging information carefully. Some barriers make this difficult. Rotates learning, memorization. Schools sometimes focus too much on memorizing facts. Students also learn facts to think instead of how to think. This can cause poor problem-solving skills, depending on the teachers for answers, difficulty in making real-life decisions, less questioning of information. Example, students may memorize facts about democratic, but cannot judge whether a government is truly democratic. Authorizing defense. People may accept information simply because it comes from a teacher, parents, and most people. Critical thinking should be examined, not just about trusting authority. This can lead to false information going unchallenged, weaker independent judgment, mistakes by authority figures not being corrected. Example, student accepts a teacher's statement without checking the evidence. Conclusion, critical thinking may be weakened when people only memorize information or blindly follow authority. Students should learn to ask questions, analyze, and evaluating evidence for themselves. Thank you.
The name is Samuel Kwabena Roy. I'm here to continue what my colleague said. Social conformity. People often agree with the majority to faith in, even if they think differently. Terry said, democracy suffers when people follow popularities, opinions, instead of thinking for themselves. This can lead to fewer alternative viewpoints, less creativity, independent thinking, acceptance of bad decisions. We also have echo chambers. Echo chambers happens when people are mostly exposed to information that supports their existing beliefs and avoid opposing viewpoints. Richard Paul and Linda Elder say critical thinking means considering many perspectives. Echo chambers limits this by blocking alternative ideas. People also seek information that confirms what already believes. A bias called confirmation bias. Effects includes stronger conceptions, more popularization, less willingness to consider other evidence, greater overconfidence. For example, someone who follows only social media accounts share the same political views, which may ever see credible opposing arguments.
I go by the name of Wilson Makia. Education does not always guarantee critical thinking. Person will earn more certificates in a biased way because education emphasizes memorizing facts and passing exams rather than analyzing and questioning ideas. According to philosopher John Dewey, true thinking involves reflective thought and keeping an open mind. He believes that education should be encouraged. Education should encourage independent and thinking rather than simply providing information. Other scholars such as Obeteni and Abu Sijo believes critical thinking helps people make personal decisions based on good reasons. Therefore, education alone is not enough. Critical thinking must be taught, practiced, and valued. The paradox or educated non-thinker. An educated non-thinker is someone who has academic qualities and degrees, but does not necessarily practice critical thinking. That is, a person who can memorize information, pass exams, and certificates without developing the habit of questioning or analyzing what they learn.
My name is Ranges. In the review, one must overcome cognitive and psychological barriers with 1. Reflective thinking, 2. Open-minded, 3. Careful observation of evidence, 4. Continuous inquiries and learning, and 5. Willingness to question assumption. Thank you.
My name is Deborah Gordon, and I'm here to talk about the cognitive and psychological barriers of critical thinking. According to Dan Darwin, a philosophist, a psychologist, was born in 1899. He discussed that critical thinking involves the reflective and careful examination of beliefs before accepting them as truth. Darwin agreed that people often faced with cognitive and psychological barriers that interfere with relative thinking. These are the following of Charles Darwin's. 1. Confirmation biases. This is the tendency to seek and interact remember information that supports existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence. This prevents objective analysis. 2. Dunning-Kruger effect, which individuals limited knowledge, understanding, and ability to restore whatever they have learned. Next one, emotional reasoning. The tendency to believe something is true because it feels too emotionally strong, because such as fear, anger, and excitement can lead to judgment. Thank you. My name is Edward Gordon. I'm here to talk about cognitive and psychological barriers of critical thinking. According to John Darius, America's philosopher, psychologist, was born in 1899. He discussed that critical thinking involves the reflective and careful examination of people before accepting them as truth. The barriers that interfere with reflective and thinking are the following. 1. Confirmation bias. This is the tendency to seek, interact, remember information that supports existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence. This prevents objective analysis once open-minded thinkers. 2. Dunning-Kruger effect, which is individuals with limited ability to think estimate their competency. It makes people resist their ability to learn and to improve.
Pathways forward. John Dewey believed that critical thinking develops through active learning and real-life experience rather than memorization. To promote critical thinking, he suggested that learning through inquiry, problem-based education, democratic classrooms. In short, he argued that schools should make students active participants in learning, helping them think independently and solve real-world problems.
In conclusion, although critical thinking is essential for development, many people, including the educated, find it difficult because education often prioritizes memorization over inquiry, cognitive bias distorts judgment, social pleasure discourages questioning, and intellectual virtues are insufficiently cultivated. Consequently, academic certification does not necessarily produce critical thinkers. John Dewey's analysis suggests that the solution lies not merely in expanding access to education, but transforming both educational practice and social institutions. Schools must promote inquiry, reflection, problem solving, and democratic participation, while society creates environments that encourage open dialogue and lifelong learning. Therefore, the thesis should be revised rather than simply reaffirmed. Education alone does not guarantee critical thinking. Rather, critical thinking develops when education and society deliberately cultivate reflective inquiry, intellectual humility, and democratic engagement. The new development depends not on the number of educated people in a society, but on the extent to which those individuals are empowered and encouraged to think critically about themselves, their community, and the world around them. Thank you.